Share this to the NAACP page. We are ready. All right, you ready, President McClanahan?
Let's do it, Gene.
All right, let's get rolling. Stay shared. All right. All right, welcome to the NAACP Presidents. This is your local branch president here in Baton Rouge, Eugene Collins, and I'm alongside our state convention president, President Michael McClanahan is here in the building today. And today we got some topics for you here. One topic in particular, and President McClanahan got some other stuff that he wants to talk about. We see President Joseph is on the phone. President Joseph up there from Lake Charles, huh?
That's right, Lake
Charles in the house, man.
In the house.
President Joseph up there fighting the good fight up there in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Right.
And I tell you what, those presidents in those smaller towns like that, they do some of the tougher stuff, man.
Tough work.
Like good stuff, man. Like up there, because it's a lot tougher. We put up billboards down here up there in Lake Charles, that'll get you shot. So President Joseph, man, keep it. Well, like President McClanahan just walked in here and told me, keep your game tight, because you're gonna need it up there.
Right.
With that said, President McClanahan, we're gonna jump right in. We put some billboards up this week. And I'm gonna let you talk about it. We got a lot of love from one side and a ton of hate from the other. So I'm gonna let you jump it off here, President McClanahan.
Eugene, I want to thank you as always, brother, for being on point, for being on time, for being dutiful, for being obedient to the word, man, for bringing the people the knowledge that keeps them informed, for giving them the information that keeps them growing up, man. I appreciate that, man. Knowledge is in fact power. But Eugene, you're right, man. We fight all kinds of fights, and we tell people all the time, how to organize, strategize, agitate, litigate. Part of our strategy, man, is to come to the table. We're always bearing the olive branch, man. Let's sit down and talk. Is there a common ground? Some people in our approach, as we approach them, they're unapproachable. You can't approach them, right? And so the police union has been a sore spot in our side way before Alton Sterling, because I've been fighting them when I was Baton Rouge branch president. Before that, when Byron Sharper, my good friend, was on the council, You know, we had issues with them. There's always been some type of issue with around police and the way they do things. And so I think it just came to a head because there is no really police contract, but it's on a month-to-month. The last police contract was signed in 2016, so we're still operating off a 2016 contract. You know, I'm on the the legislative task force for police de-escalation and all that other good stuff, right? You can't. Those guys think they can have their way, and the people say don't really matter. We've been trying to tell them, when you come to the table with us, come to the table with clean hands. They want to come jacked up and jack up all this kind of stuff here, right? And Eugene, just like you, man, I've got 4 or 5 calls, man, saying, Mike, what you all gonna do? You know, the police contract, it's police contract. Well, as I appreciate, there should be an offer and acceptance. If there's going to be a mutual agreement, both parties have to sit down and come to agreement. Outside that, you don't have a contract, right? And the contract, not having a contract in the capital city, looks bad for us as citizens. It looks bad for the administration because we want to be one Baton Rouge. The mayor has been pushing one Baton Rouge, but there are a group of persons that want to have 3 and 4 Baton Rouges. That doesn't work. That doesn't work for us, especially in a city which you have a majority of the citizens are black. We say, let's come to the table. In the words of someone from California, can we all just get along? And so, Eugene, we went out. We said, look here, if you're not going to come to the table, we're going to really start agitating, right? Part of the agitation process is that we invested in a billboard because we know the other side, the low down side, and invested in billboards that only tell their side. And their side, what people see, well, we want to tell them our side, right? Because we know that my mother would say there's always 2 sides to every story. And we just want to let the real side, the truth come out. And so we put a billboard. It's on College Drive, right over there. If you're going to College Drive, that's 10. That's I-10 South. When you get to College Drive, you should see the billboard to your right. It's sitting over there, right by whether it's Applebee's or over that area. Look to your right where all the hotels are at. You'll see a big, what kind of sign is it? Electric sign?
Yeah, it's one of those transition signs, one of those digital signs. It's right there at I-10. Like President McClellan said, where I-10 South ends, I-10 East begins on the way to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right there next to Rue Chris. So you see Rue Chris off the interstate.
Drive goes right up in there.
Right there.
And then Eugene, the billboard speaks for itself. Yeah. We're calling it into the contract. You know, we really don't have a contract. It's a month-to-month contract, right? Yeah. We're calling it into the contract. Let the brass from the police union come and sit down. Let's really get to some negotiations so we can put this thing behind us, and then everybody can get back to doing what they're really intended to do. The mayor can get back to being the mayor. The police can get back to providing the great service that they already provide, and the citizens can feel safe that this is one Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and President Clinton, you brought up some great points, because first thing people don't realize is that our billboard is very simple, like you said. Like, now they put some derogatory things on their billboard, right? And they attacked Chief Murphy Paul on their board, but on our board the message is very simple: fix police union leadership, and it says the time is now. And www.endthecontract.com. And we kept it simple because we don't need to illustrate how bad the problem is, right?
Right.
Their leadership is doing that for us. If you go to the website, only thing we got posted is stuff that their leadership has done. You had the treasurer making racist Facebook posts on tiger droppings while on the clock. You had Mr. Creel, who was another officer within the police union. He was designing their billboards, attacking the chief, degrading the city, while on the clock. And a whole other caveat to that part, President McClanahan, is that the data that they used on this billboard was incorrect. It is not the city data, it's the parish data. Provided by the coroner's office. So you had that element and aspect. So you're degrading the city with incorrect information at that, right? We know we got a problem. Why put it on a billboard? President McClanahan, the stupid part is that you're putting on a billboard that you're basically not doing your job, right? So you got that aspect. And then not only that, you had the guy that is chosen to be the spokesperson for the police union resigned from the police department, I think in 2019 or 2018, one of those years, to prevent an internal affairs investigation because he was stalking and threatening a woman in Livingston Parish. That's the person that's speaking for the police union. And just go outside of that, the person that they assigned or appointed to be their representative on the civil service board, he has been caught up in some excessive force complaints. So we didn't do anything but place up there what their leaders had done.
Yeah.
What the police leaders, you can say what you want to say, nobody's perfect and we get all that, but these are policemen. And these are the leaders of the police union that done this stuff. So we had one thing say, fix police union leadership. The time is now. And it's very simple. It didn't go out to anything else. It didn't get into derogatory terms towards individuals as they did. It said one simple thing in every article that's posted on inthecontract.com. Ain't nothing that we made up. Ain't nothing that we cited. It's cited by the Advocate. It's cited by Channel 9. It's cited by Channel 2 that these guys behave this way while wearing their badge. So, and these are your leaders. So that doesn't make sense to me. And then outside of that, I'm just going to keep it real for a second.
Keep it real, Jen. Keep it real.
The police union leadership is all white.
Come on.
But the police force now is what, 50% black?
Come on.
So
where they do that at,
how
Gene?
is that representative of the police department?
Where they do that at, Gene?
Baton Rouge. That's what they do it at, Baton Rouge. This wouldn't exist nowhere else.
Yeah.
We would not have to bring this issue up anywhere else. And President McClanahan, you spoke to something else, which is a really good point I want to highlight. New Orleans ain't got no police union. And they get along just fine. The sheriff's office ain't got no police union. And they get along just fine. And currently, you brought up another good point, President McClanahan. Currently, you're on a month-to-month contract, which kind of says to me that you don't need a contract.
Don't need a contract.
If you're doing it month-to-month, you kind of don't need a contract in place if you're doing it month-to-month. And President McClanahan, you brought up another good point. Blaine Salamone is probably not even a police officer if not for the Baton Rouge Police Union.
Telling you. Say it.
Imagine that.
A murderer.
If he's never a police officer, what is the conversation around Albert Sterling if he's never a police officer? He's a police officer because of his connections and family ties with the Baton Rouge Police Union. That's listed on the website. He shouldn't have been a police officer. The union made sure that happened. So where are we today if that's never taken place? And Sonia Stoller bring up a great point. We should invite the mayor on, and we'll extend that invite. But President McClanahan, they came out with I think it was Friday maybe, with some quotes from I think it was Saya Krill that talked about we're willing to sit down and meet with the chief. We're even willing to discuss officer misconduct. And when I read that, the first thing I think is that you already knew officer misconduct was happening. It just took a billboard on I-10 to get you to want to talk about it. Like President McClanahan, what's your thoughts on that?
Man, I'm telling you, Gene, I can truly say this. When we strategize our work, some thought came into place in that billboard there because we want to maximize its impact. Hundreds of thousands of persons travel that way probably a day, and they were going to see that. Those persons who saw it put pressure on the union. But I remember this, Gene, those same persons that are part of the union brass had a website out, man, that was talking about what they would do to the citizens of the city of Baton Rouge, and they were bragging about it. It's almost like they were playing the ghost on the videos on Atari and getting points. They were getting points at the expense of the citizens. So, the stuff we have with them is long running. You know, they low down. We need to erase the low down guys, get them out of here. But, you know, in terms of, they were up under a consent decree. The police department was under consent decree. And somebody asked me the other day, what does Magnolia Peace Officer have to do with the union? Magnolia Peace Officer had to start because Magnolia Peace Officer is the black union folk right there. Black as a black organization for police officers, because the white police union didn't want them to participate in that. But yet and still, they want the black police officer to have their back when they go on the street. But you ain't got their back when it comes to hiring, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to termination.
And President McClanahan, you know what always trips me out about this police union fight is, you know, when Republicans support the police union. And let me tell you why. Because a lot of y'all may not know this because y'all don't pay attention to Republican stuff.
Go ahead, Gene. I know where you're going with this,
but
Gene.
as the presidents of the NAACP Louisiana Convention and president of the Baton Rouge branch here, we have to, right? And we're a bipartisan organization.
That, Gene. Good talk.
And like President McClanahan say, all white folk ain't bad and all black people ain't
Good. That's right.
That's just what it is. You don't believe me? Just take a little bit more time getting to know this city. But it trips me out when I see Republicans on these feeds defending the police union when that ain't a Republican thing. Republicans typically do not like unions.
Right.
They hate unions.
Right. They hate unions, Gene.
Except the police union, which the police union represents everything that Republicans say are bad about unions. They represent all that. They control power in a moving circle. They make workers forget who they actually work for. They don't work for the city. They work for the union. But it trips me out to see Republican folks support the union because typically they don't support unions whatsoever. The NAACP has a historic relationship.
Great relationship.
With worker unions. The ASL-CIO. They did a movie about it. At one point, the NAACP's relationship with worker unions, right?
Right.
And we have historically supported worker unions against the conservative right because worker unions provided some protections that Republicans typically say is too much, except when it comes to police unions.
Yeah.
The only thing I got to think in that,
go ahead, Gene.
sometimes,
Gene's a little
not everybody.
Yeah, wow.
Sometimes white people still have affection for slave catchers. That's the only thing I can think of, Mike, because this is not a Republican deal. It is not a conservative deal. Conservatives hate unions. The only union they like is the police union.
Look at Maria Harmer. She right on you. Maria Harmer says the police union maintains the principles of white supremacy culture. They don't care about workers' rights.
Exactly, President McClanahan. And, just to touch on that a bit, when we look at this particular union, which represents everything bad about unions, right? It makes you kind of stop and say, okay, we kind of see the union stuff, but y'all ain't talking about no other union except this one. Like I don't get that, President. Maybe you do, President McClanahan. Can you shed some light on the President McClanahan?
Gene, you're right in terms of the NAACP and the union. I have been all over this country fighting with the union for rights for its workers. I've been all up to D.C., California, well, not California, Texas. We've been all over fighting for union rights. That means they will provide better benefits, work sites will be better, safety, health, all that on the job, better wages. Fight for, that's what union stands for. Except at the Baton Rouge Police Union, they don't say nothing about benefits in terms of health benefits. They talk about the job site, job performance. Don't talk about none of that. They talk about protecting them when they do wrong. Where they do that at? That's a one-sided union contract, and we ain't standing for it here in Baton Rouge because you all have done enough. There are a lot of good police officers that don't care nothing about the union. They care about protecting and serving. You got a few fools that want to say we want to have our cake and eat it too, and we want to catch you and beat the hell out you. That ain't gonna work here, Gene, because they need to know that the NAACP, we ain't sleeping. We're on our job.
And President McClellan, I want to say this too, because there are a lot of folks with a lot of different opinions on those comment feeds. I don't read them, but people were sending them to me and stuff like that. And one thing I want to let folks know, you don't dictate what the NAACP do. We don't care. President McClellan and I don't even read those feeds. You are wasting your time. But see, one of the things that I had somebody do for us, right, is I said, go on the feeds and I want you to research these people that's commenting in a negative way towards our billboard and see where they're from. Less than 4% of those folks are from Baton Rouge.
Come on.
So the people that actually like those billboards being up in Baton Rouge, most of them are not from Baton Rouge. They are from Livingston Parish. They are from Central.
Come on.
They are from Ascension.
Not Livingston.
Like they are not from here. They're not from here. So when you look at that stuff, know that it's sometimes jaded, because those people that are sometimes spewing that hate or carrying that narrative are not from this city. People from this city did not like the police on your billboards. So when they say, oh, people love them, who? Because y'all don't even live here.
Gene, that's funny you mentioned that now. I remember when I was president of Baton Rouge Branch, and someone had done a study of the contract to be a police officer in one of the towns in Livingston Parish. I don't remember what it was, Denham Springs or whatever the town it was. And they matched the same contract application, to be a Ku Klux Klan. They put them face to face. There might have been one or two words that separated the application.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be a police officer in one of those towns in Livingston Parish means you joining the Klan.
President McClellan, historically that's been the case, right? And when you look at just the response to this, you can't think that race isn't involved in this. And you know, we know for a fact that there's been some misconduct, and the union hasn't taken a position on it. Coy Moore, let's talk about it. Coy Moore at LSU, folks are saying that maybe he wasn't totally truthful about what happened in that situation. Said that, hey, the police union came out and said, we want criminal charges on a kid that plays football for LSU, a child that plays football for LSU. I don't call him a child because he played football. He's a grown man. But he a kid, right?
Yeah.
He a kid. So you calling for criminal charges on a kid when we know for a fact there was a drug dealing cop that's a part of your union that you ain't said nothing about.
Said nothing about. He was taking the dope to his friend because his friend had a headache. They said weed or get rid of your headache, get rid of your nausea, James.
Like where I'm from, they call that the weed man. Everybody that I had dropped me weed off when I did that, they were the weed man. That's what it was. That was the weed man bringing that guy weed. The cop, he was the weed man. That's what he did. And to find out that he was already not convicted, but they already settled a case in federal court where he went into a house and strip searched somebody.
Come on, Jay.
Strip searched them.
He was high when he did
it. But you ain't say nothing about that. But you wanna talk about Coy Moore, but you ain't said nothing about that. Like, let's just keep it real. You would defend these criminal cops to the fifth, right? They went above and beyond to defend murdering Blaine Salamone. Why y'all ain't saying nothing about Jeremiah Arwen? You ain't heard one word uttered from the Baton Rouge Police Union on Jeremiah Arwen. And I'm going to keep it real for a second here, Mike, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Jen. Keep it real Sunday.
Keep it real Sunday, right? Like, we ain't even appreciated Jeremiah Arwen properly yet. Let's talk about it. Because he a cop, sometimes, we overlook the fact that this is a black man that said, hey, I saw this cop doing some wrong stuff in our communities, and I can't sit back silent anymore. We ain't properly thanked that brother as a community.
Right.
We just haven't. That's just what it is. So we it's kind of hypocritical for us to talk about what the union ain't done it, and we ain't really done it either. Jeremiah Arwen, just so y'all don't know, he's on leave right now. He at home. He ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
Like he did that because he went into communities and saw that we weren't being treated properly, and if it's not for him, we ain't here at all. So I know that some of y'all got some angst about police and stuff like that, but this black man did exactly what we asked for police to do. See something, say something.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Said something.
He said something. And literally we're not understanding how powerful that is right now in this moment. We don't get that. But the police union hadn't said a doggone thing about Jeremiah Arwen, but they protected murdering Blaine Salamone as late as last week. Like, they still protecting Salamone. But you ain't saying nothing about Jeremiah Arwen. Black cops, y'all ought to be pissed off. Y'all should see that they don't even defend y'all with the same level of passion.
That's right.
They don't. That's not what they do. I don't see them coming out with nothing saying, hey, I'm with Arwen.
Yeah.
I'm with Arwen. And even though they say, well, save Krill and all that stuff, I got the emails that Krill did this stuff on the clock. You ain't got to guess or wonder. You ain't got to think you
Gene. Gene got the.
I got the emails in my bag.
You got the proof.
Like, that's exactly what he did. So black officers, y'all should be upset. Like I don't understand like why they're still a part of this union.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, that billboard is not an attack on police officers. And people that read that, that's just because you want to read it that way. You don't like the NAACP. And we've been fighting against racists since 1909, like President McClanahan said. So we've been fighting them a long time. So there's good reason to not like us, right? Good reason.
Good reason.
But if you see anything but an attack on a corrupt police union, something wrong with you. It is not an attack on good men and women that wear that badge. Because you do have some good men and women that wear that badge. I just said what Jeremiah Arwen.
Got a lot of them, G. There's a lot of good men and women that wear that badge, man, and don't go take no dope. Or what they do is stop people on the street and plant dope on them, or stop people on the street and bust their heads open for nothing, and take money and all that kind of stuff. And so that leads them right to when this cat did that, we telling Hiller, all right, Hiller, all the cases that this guy has worked on, those cases should be looked at and thrown out. The charges should be dismissed. There are guys that are doing time behind this low down cop because he wanted to take weed to his friend for his headache, and they want to plant weed on people so it can be a case against them. That's low down. There's a place, I promise you, Gene, in hell for him. And we want to make sure that he has a hot bed when he go there. But we talking to Hiller more, telling Hiller that all the cases, we sent a letter to him, Gene, saying we think you should, we are of the opinion that you should appoint, there should be, not appoint, he going to appoint, there should be a board that sits there to review these cases. Community Oversight Board that will look at the cases. And something that we talked about last weekend is that there should be some money paid to these persons that did time, that was illegal, that was unjust, and that was done out of hate by this low down cop. They need to be set free and give us some money. These guys lost jobs, lost family, lost their respect, lost their dignity, and they lost serious time behind this. Pay them. They should be, part of the oversight board should be made up to find out how much money should we be paying these people for that for the low down stuff done by this low down cop.
And President McClanahan, you're spot on because you just didn't go to jail, right? Like let's think about this because the people say, y'all don't, you're not doing anything. Why you don't fight crime in your communities the same way? And I'm getting tired of that argument, right? Because, like, President McClanahan, let's think about this for a second. The NAACP, led by Miss Joanne Porter here in Baton Rouge, has held some type of Stop the Violence rally or march pretty much every month since November. Y'all just don't want to see the work. So you want to continue to carry that idiotic narrative, even though the NAACP probably for the last 2 years across this state, not just here in Baton Rouge, because I look at Shreveport, I look at Lake Charles, I look at what's happening in New Orleans, I look at what's happening in Alexandria. We are ramping up our violence prevention efforts across this state. President McClanahan, I've heard you say it on calls. Hey, we can't be out here fighting if we're not doing anything to stop the violence in our communities. You have called me like, gee, hey, what are we doing to stop the violence in our communities? So that narrative is not only just stupid, it's false, right? And then outside of that, when people bring up that argument, I always want to, I hadn't said this yet, but I'm going to start telling people this. Like, what y'all doing about white male terrorism in y'all community? Like before you come over here, know that you got some stuff to deal with over there before you just come and tell us what we need to be doing, right?
That's right.
And then outside of just that, President McClanahan, when these folks went to jail, they lost jobs, like you said. In the process of losing jobs, you lose homes. In the process of losing homes, all these people that's going to jail ain't single without kids. So guess what you're doing when you plant drugs on somebody and they got to sit in jail for 60 days, 120 days, or 6 months, or however long it took our district attorney to get to them, right? When you do all of those things and they've lost their means to make a living, how does that affect the child?
That's right.
How does that affect the home? And these are mostly black males that have had these drugs planted on them. When you want to talk about the systemic approach to that, right? What happens in this country when you take the black man out of the home? That is the beginning of everything. And then people say, well, nah, it's about personal choice. I'm like, you goddamn idiot. It has never been about personal choice. It is structural systems that allow this stuff to operate. So if you're not attacking these things, you are not preventing crime. You're only putting a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound. You got to do more. You got to do more. If somebody gets shot, you stitch it up.
That's
you
right.
don't put a Band-Aid on it. Like, if somebody's going to jail and he's not raising that boy because he got drugs planted on him, when he get out, his woman done left him, he ain't got no job, he ain't got no place to stay. Guess what's happening then? That child is going back into the same life that his dad did. You are furthering adding to the next generation's crime problem.
That's right.
You can't tell that this ain't violence prevention.
That's right.
So we're going to march and do all the other stuff. We're going to knock on doors and do the violence prevention activities. But keeping young black males out of jail because drugs were planted on them is crime prevention as well. And if you don't see it that way, something wrong with you.
But then, people want to talk about crime prevention, but they don't want to talk about, how if you don't give a young black male, a young black female educational opportunities because they start kicking kids out of school, man, at 2nd and 3rd grade. If you can't let a kid be trained and learned in school, be educated in school, what they gonna do when they don't go to school? They're being trained and learned and educated by the streets. The streets is hard. The streets undefeated. Either you make it out or you die out. One of the two. So we need to keep these kids in school. You need to train them to have better teachers. You need to have teachers that love them. You need to have a better system other than just kicking kids out of school. And then you got a mama because she's making $7, $6 an hour. She ain't home with the kids, so she can't teach them. So what you gonna do? There's a whole lot of stuff we can add to the mix. Don't just say because there's black on black crime. We have to fight it at its root. I just can't walk to somebody who's grown man now, 15, 16, 18, or 20, and say, put the gun down. And all he know is crime. The environment that he live in is conducive to building nothing but criminals. The environment that he lives in, because that's all he sees. We have to do more. We have to provide job opportunity, economic development. There's a line here in Baton Rouge that say anything north of Florida is North Baton Rouge is no good. Yeah. Society is already marked where you can build houses, where you can set up your business. It ain't in North Baton Rouge. That's a bunch of bull. They don't only do it for Baton Rouge, they do it all over the country. They redline us, all that kind of stuff, man. They put resources in different schools. 2 schools coming up together. All black school, you get no resources. All white school, or predominantly white school, you get all the resources, and you get brand new schools. Yeah. What do you expect? The black school get no certified teachers, you get paras. You get persons coming in, can't even speak English, teaching. We have to do better, man, our school system. We have to do better. Then look, I got one even better than that, Gene. Mm-hmm. So the dad is trying to work, but the system says you can't live with the mama because she gets state benefits, your benefits, and her state benefits or federal benefits gonna still have below the poverty line. Yeah. So they want to keep you impoverished. They want to keep you without health benefits. They want to keep the children and the dad and parents separated. Well, that's like Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch said you separate the mama and the daddy from the child, and you can keep them confused. You can keep their lineage in peril. That's what it is. Our lineage, our future in peril because all these rules and unwritten rules that they come up with us, Eugene.
Low down, as you always say.
Low down, Gene. Low down.
And President McClanahan, and this is what makes this so rough, right? And this is why, I hope our district attorney is listening. You can't understand this because you don't look like us. You can't. I don't care how long you worked in it. I don't care how long you've been district attorney. You can't understand how important this is to us. And just because you ain't hearing from our leaders don't mean they ain't talking about it on the streets.
That's right.
And pretty soon we got to let our leaders know that there's a time limit that we're going to give y'all to speak about this because we put y'all there. And just like we put y'all there, we'll take y'all from there if it come down to it. But they got to have a limit. And I'm not going to say everybody because we work with Representative Ted James with the Legislative Black Caucus.
Emma Jordan.
Senator Barrow to send that original letter. But there hasn't been enough noise around this. Like people are in jail that this guy planted drugs on. That's just what it is. People are in jail that this guy planted drugs on.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing we making up, President McClanahan.
We can't make that up, Gene. That's real.
That's what it is. So we know for a fact that people are in jail, but that this guy planted drugs on. How can we continue to be okay with this and not say the things that we need to be saying? Like that's beyond me. And that the bail funds and all of that stuff that's doing good work and all of that stuff.
Man,
like President Grant, some of the stories we hear are just atrocious about what happened to people in these communities. And you can say, well, if they just didn't do the crime, right? Hey, there was a man that took weed from the evidence lockup to his friend, and y'all say, oh,
his friend had a headache, Gene. Felt nauseated.
And that was the first time I heard people in Baton Rouge talk about legalizing marijuana. They're like, well, it should be legal anyway. I'm like, man, if I'd have did it, you let me.
When I was smoking, they weren't saying nothing that, Gene.
Legalize it. Now it's a public health crisis today. In the 80s, we were crack babies. Now we just need help. That's just what it is. That I ain't making this up. Google it. That's how this country always treated us.
Right.
Like you can't say that's the way it is. But President McClanahan, that's it's almost comical in a sense, but not because it's sad, because these are lives that we're talking about. But how is this not crime prevention? And we don't think that systemically this is crime prevention. Something is wrong with our level of thinking. We've assimilated into a thought that don't even benefit us. When I hate when I see black people post that. Well, we got to take care of our communities. We got to take care of ourselves. Yeah, we got to do all that. But you don't see them posting, hey, well, we got to grab our young white men and get them into mental health treatment because they going to shoot up schools and buildings and blow up stuff. Yeah. You don't see them saying that. Why we got to say it? I don't understand that, President McClanahan. I don't get that. Like, I don't get that. And they don't realize that that's the slave master still working inside of you. You ain't never really got rid of.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Yeah, Gene, why they telling us what we should be doing? They should go get vaccinated, Gene.
That part.
There's a whole lot of stuff we could be talking about doing. There are very few of us doing. You talk about crime prevention, but we talk about the other part of the health initiative is getting vaccinated. We know that COVID is still out there. It's still killing people. I got some people that died this weekend, from the COVID. Go get the shot. The governor in his infinite wisdom and those that are around him that look just like you and I that telling them, Courtney Phillips, Dr. Phillips, open this thing up for everybody, get the shot. Everybody white rush to get the shot. They don't wear a mask, but they rush to get the shot. We dying and we don't even want the shot. Come on now, where they do that at? Yeah. I've had the shot. Gene has had the shot. We want to give our race, our people, the opportunity to live another day. You get that by getting that shot.
Yeah, and President McClanahan, I have no problem with people taking a certain stance on vaccines, but at least know what you're talking about. Yeah. There's been a lot of misinformation out there. President McClanahan, any closing thoughts for the coach?
Gene, I appreciate you, Gene. There's coming up a runoff election. Want persons to go register to vote on. Early voting has already started, I think, Gene.
Yeah.
It's time for you to go vote. Go vote. There's the Georgia just passed legislation that's going to restrict voting. If you're standing in line, you can't even take somebody some water. That's a crime. Go vote. There's going to be some persons that have had the right to vote that never voted, and when they take our rights from us, as they trying to do, or restrict our rights, they would know what it is to go freely vote anytime the doors of voting are open. So go vote, man, because your vote is your voice.
Yeah, President McClanahan. As we close out here, there's the folks that we got into some system things here today. And for those of y'all that say, well, President McClanahan, Eugene Collins always try to make it about race, we didn't do that. Thomas Jefferson actually did that. We coined the term race, right? So if you ever want to blame me, don't blame me.
Don't blame Gene.
Go dig up Thomas Jefferson and blame him. Tell him about all that. He coined the term race.
Right.
You've been here with the NAACP President. This is Eugene Collins. I will talk to y'all next week. You've been on WTQT 106.1, the best gospel station in all of Baton Rouge. Up now, you have Jason Nelson shifting the atmosphere. All right now.
That time will pass. Golly. See, like when we have one of these sessions, man, that time really goes, man.
Oh, yeah. All that is, we on time today, Mike. We usually just over.
Man.